The largest and most challenging Shaolin school in the world is presented to us at the beginning of the movie. Shaolin refers to a school where kids learn karate and kung fu, where a young man called Fang was getting ready for his final contest. After graduating from the school, it will be determined whether or not he is a skilled fighter and kung fu practitioner. He visits the temple before the contest. Also, the exam scheduled for today was quite challenging, because only a small number of people could pass it. Fang had to battle some wooden puppets throughout the exam, which were under the leadership of some valiant soldiers. Get it? He was confident that he could pass this exam in some way, and as soon as he gives the indication that he is prepared, he is the target of 2 simultaneous strikes. That is, those puppets made of wood rush at him and murder him. But he steps aside and makes a quick getaway. Nevertheless, the 3rd time it hits him in the chest. This time he is unable to take a step back. He then opens his arms and strikes his leg forcefully into the ground, whose power was so great that his shirt tore and flew through the air. Also, due of the shine on his body, it starts to turn golden. It appeared as though his body was covered now. This was a kung fu move called copper skin. Fang had a lot of talent. He leaps there and breaks every puppet with a series of one-on-one punches. They were all dispersed down below. He was now of the opinion that everything was done. The puppets' individual parts all at once come together, and he was suddenly a really large puppet, whose front fang appeared to be tiny. Fang recognizes, just looking at him, that he cannot be vanquished in the same way as previously. I can use all of my strength, yet nothing will happen. He walks and leaps on that puppet for this reason, catching all the stars, which the warriors were using to control him. All of the warriors start to collapse as soon as this occurs. The puppet then fractures and disperses into several parts as soon as their stars are captured. In this instance, Fang succeeds in the test and departs as a superb kung fu specialist. The cop who was a major cheater is then revealed, because he used money he stole from the government coffers to fund his activities. The largest heist in history involved so much money yet. He didn't want anyone to be aware of it, so that's the reason he killed his buddy. Since he participated in this heist as well, the officer was now searching for the document that included all the details of this theft, which the officer's partner made, and at this point he had hidden it. Fang encounters his old acquaintance in the village when he arrives there. Also, he had a friend by the name of Rong. Now, when these two were on their way to meet Rong, they noticed a fighter approaching, who was a courageous, tall man. He was an excellent fighter. He was executing a male. Fang strikes the man to save him, yet he was so strong that he could kill Fang with just one blow, and as he continues to revolve, he collapses. He realized then that this warrior is not a regular man. In actuality, it is really hard to overcome him. This fighter was in fact employed by the officer. The combatant has now arrived here to do this task. He mounts his horse and rides away since he did not accomplish anything. Fang follows him while seated on the horse. These folks had now gathered in the marketplace's center. Fang's mother now arrives here in a very aggressive manner before he starts to fight. Fang is taken home when she grabs him by the ears to prevent him from engaging in these conflicts. He loses to her initially. She also confines him and bans him from leaving. Fang, however, had no intention of relaxing at home. He starts silently leaving this area as soon as he has the opportunity. He first notices his neighbor when he is not dressed. As she sees him, she yells. Prior to Fang's question, "What are you doing here?" the girl notices several troops arriving here. She instantly runs away. The soldiers approach Fang and inquire, "Sure, tell me, girl. Has a female been spotted here?" To save the girl's life, however, Fang injures her. "Oh, no, brother, I have not seen anyone," he also informs them incorrectly. As the girl emerges, she addresses Fang. "You saved my life, so thank you very much. The companion of Rong and Fang came here for that reason." Rong expresses her grief to Fang's buddy when she sees them together. "Hey, my childhood buddy is standing with this female." It implies that something connects these two. The poor girl now becomes enraged and departs. Fang nonetheless follows behind to explain to her. A soldier stops Fang's companion as he was about to leave, and he asks him a question while displaying a photo of a man. "Are you familiar with this man? How will you locate him?" And Rong's father was shown in the photo. He conceals and won't admit that he doesn't know because of this. His friend tells him all this when he gets home, that a few troops are searching for your father. She then asks, "Why? How will they find my dad in this situation?" Wrong pulls out a package as his pal departs from this area. This had the identical document containing the theft-related facts, and the policeman was searching for it. So we might conclude that Wrong's father was the genuine custodian of this paper. He is the only one who can now use this paper to punish the officer. This is the reason that the soldiers were looking for him, though. Next day, Fang comes to Wrong's house, where Fang's friend tells him that Wrong is not at home. He is missing. And I think the businessman has kidnapped him, because the people of Kailash were looking for Wrong's dad. After knowing this, Fang immediately goes to find the businessman, who was fighting with the people in the city. Fang comes there in the style of a warrior and asks the businessman, "Tell me, where's my friend Wrong?" To which he replies, "How do I know about your friend? You had to keep your friend safe, right?" Because of this, the fight started between the two. But Fang defeated him very easily with his kung fu style. But Fang feels bad when the businessman accepts his defeat with a smile. He says, "Okay, boy, I have given up on you, and now you will be my son-in-law, because I was looking for a proposal for my daughter. And my condition was that I will marry my son to the same boy who will defeat me in the fight. And today you did that work." This time the businessman was happy, and everyone goes to congratulate him. After hearing this, Fang understands that he really does not know anything about Wrong, but if I stay here for some more time, then he will forcefully get his son married to me. So he runs away from here quickly. When Fang reaches home, Wrong had come back there. She says that I had never been kidnapped. In fact, I had gone by my own will. And now you both will not do any drama. I don't want to listen to anything about you. I know that it is really your matter. Now they were going on like this. Sometimes someone gets angry and sometimes someone else. On the way back home, the businessman's men surround Fang and the neighboring girl. The businessman comes and asks the girl that whereas my daughter been missing for so many days. After hearing this, Fang finds out that actually this neighbor is the daughter of the businessman, and for this he was looking for a relationship. And he also tells the truth here that my man was looking for Wrong's dad because the officer had told him to do so, because the businessman was the officer's man. After hearing this, Fang realizes that Wrong's life is in danger, so he immediately goes to save her. But it was too late, because he had already caught Wrong and her dad. The officer's soldier was Wrong's dad. He asks for the papers, but when he refuses to give, the soldier says that if you don't give, then I will kill your daughter. But still his dad doesn't give up, and gets ready to fight with him alone. But soon he realizes that he can't face so many people alone. So he sacrificed himself to save that paper and his daughter's life. He cut his throat with a sword. Then Fang comes here. Before this, he had saved Wrong's dad. It was too late, because he was dead. All the soldiers attacked him on seeing Fang. But as soon as he comes, he starts killing everyone. He was punching someone and throwing someone away. So the remaining soldiers left with a knife around Wrong's neck. When the officer comes to know that Fang had come in my mission as a hurdle, and my soldiers didn't get that paper, then he calls the fighter, and orders him to somehow kill Fang and give me that paper. Now the fighter doesn't like this, but now he has to bow down in front of that officer. Fang gets a letter, on which it was written that come to one place with that paper by night. And if you don't do this, then we will kill Wrong. At night, Fang arrives at the said place with the paper. He easily hands over the paper to the soldier. Everyone was surprised that he gave the paper so easily without fighting. And now, as soon as the soldier opens it, he finds out that this paper is fake. With this, the fight between Fang and the fighter begins. In the fight, the fighter's dad puts poison powder on Fang, due to which his powers are reduced by a lot. But the fighter's dad was also very injured. The fighter's attention was on his injured father, so he takes him away from here. And now, as soon as the soldier himself moves forward to kill Fang, then his mom and businessmen come here and save him. The Fang is bathed with a little bit of water after bringing home, so that the effect of the poison is over. The soldier tells the fighter and his dad that I give you the last chance to save your life. Go and kill Fang. Bring that paper. Otherwise we will kill you. Now, if there is no way, the fighter leaves his dad and goes to kill Fang. Fang was completely fine. And now he starts looking at the picture that Wrong had given him. And as soon as he presses the button, the picture opens. And that paper comes out of it, with which these people understand that by giving this paper, we will save Wrong, but trouble such an officer will not be punished. Fang then gets the letter of the fighter. That's why he leaves here immediately. When they come in front of each other, they start fighting. The fighter was threatened by the soldier. That's why he fights with Fang with a lot of strength, but he can't defeat him. But Fang also does not kill him here, but leaves him alive. The fighter comes home and sees that my dad is dead. So he starts crying very sad. Their Fang's friend reaches outside the officer's house and says that leave my friend Wrong. In return, I give you that paper. On that spot, the injured Wrong is brought. His face and clothes were covered with blood, which proves that he has been tortured a lot. As soon as his friend gives the paper, Fang comes in between and kicks him, and stops all this from happening. That's why Fang's mom and businessmen also came here, and all these people were ready to fight with the officer's companions. And now finally, as soon as the officer comes here, he starts fighting with Fang. The officer was the expert of the most dangerous level of Kung Fu. And today, for the first time, Fang realizes that he has clashed with a very powerful man. He hits a powerful punch like Fang. He is so strong that even the copper skin can't stand it breaks. Fang was injured. His mouth starts bleeding. Being weak, the officer throws a piece of a sword at him. That's when Wrong comes in front. The piece of the sword pierces the heart of the officer. The poor girl couldn't escape. While saving Fang, she herself is killed. Seeing this, Fang's friend is very angry, and now as soon as he goes to kill the officer, that's when the officer hits him hard and throws him away. That poor girl also dies. Fei's mom and businessman are also captured, and that's when the fighter comes here and starts killing the officer. Because of him, the fighter's dad died. Here the businessmen tell him to take the paper and run away from here quickly. Then, even though he doesn't want to, he takes the paper and runs away from there. The fighter fights with the officer very bravely, but he is killed by him. The next day, the officer accused Fang's mom and businessmen and decided to hang them. Where to see their hanging, all the people of the city gathered. And now Fang had no other way than to bring the paper in front of everyone. He goes to the place where he was hanged and tells that the officer stole a lot of money from the government treasury. Even before that, he did a lot of wrong things. Look, I also have evidence against him. After hearing this, everyone starts protesting against the officer. The officer was very angry at this, because if the king finds out about his theft, he will punish him for the same. So he tells his soldiers to attack the bed. But then the soldiers of the businessmen also come here, and now a lot of big fights break out between these two groups. On the other hand, Fang and the officer once again came face to face and started fighting. But this time Fang used his strength as well as his brain. As he pulls a rope, a big stick goes straight to the officer's chest, due to which he was injured. Giving him a weak shield, Fang hit him one by one. And in the end, the copper skin punch that hit him, he fell quite far, due to which he was half dead. Outside, the officer's soldiers also lost. That's where the king comes here with his entire army. Fang shows them that paper, and this proves that he had stolen the treasury, on which the king imprisons the officer to hang him. With this victory, everyone was very happy. Here the neighbor girl was standing very close to Fang, and the donkey shakes, due to which we understand that Fang also started liking him.